Interface Video presents Fairfield Today. Brought to you by Fairfield Federal Savings and Loan, Fairfield Medical Center, Fairhope Hospice and Palliative Care, the Fairfield County Board of Developmental Disabilities, and the Frankie Smith Funeral Home.
Hi, and welcome to Fairfield Today. I am your host, Custer-Montanez, with the Fairfield County Board of Developmental Disabilities. And with me is my friend Mandy Wilkins from Forest Rose School. Mandy is a preschool teacher and has been one for, 20 years?
Yes.
That is impressive.
Yes. Started when I was 12.
Yeah, exactly. And you have no wrinkles.
No, none. Not at all.
I love it.
Looking good at 27.
Absolutely. Keep up the good work. Mandy is at Forest Rose School, and she's a teacher with the integrated preschool program here. And we're here to talk about that today because, well, number one, it's kind of unique to have an integrated setting of any kind, but I love that it's a preschool setting. And we're going to talk a little bit about what that means and get a look at some of our friends here that are off to the left very quietly doing their artwork. I'm very impressed. That's all you.
Thank you.
So, Mandy, tell me a little bit about what is integrated preschool? What does that mean?
Okay, so here at Forest Rose, we do offer an integrated preschool. So we have up to 8 children with special needs integrated in with 4 typically developing peer role models. Those children range in ages from 3 to 5, and they just basically come in and serve as peer role models for our students with special needs. Like I said, it's a wonderful program. They're absolutely wonderful in that they're the little teachers in the classroom, and we, they just work seamlessly, throughout the program, and you could walk into a classroom and you really wouldn't know who our typicals are because they all just interact, and they just do a really great job, and they're such great friends to everybody.
I love that. And you're right. You walk in the room, you have no idea who's who, which, we shouldn't. It's really none of my business to begin with. But I do love that. But what I also love is that the typical peer models, they're enrolled in preschool, period. So they're learning the exact same things that any other child would be learning in any other preschool. They're not taking one for the team, per se. They're just doing it in a different setting.
Right, correct. And our typicals do get a lot of one-on-one attention because I do have to assistants in my classroom besides myself. So at a given time, my max capacity is 12 students with 3 adults. So our typicals do get a lot of one-on-one attention. So we're working on all kindergarten readiness skills, and most of our typicals are more than ready for kindergarten just because they do get a lot of attention. And it is a full-day program, I should mention. They arrive around 8:45 and leave around 2:30, so Monday through Thursday. So some people are like, that's a really long day. But when you're progressing to all-day kindergarten, our kiddos are really ready. We do have a rest time in the afternoon because it is mandated by the state. So they do really well. At the beginning of the year, it's always, tiresome, but that's for any child, I think. So, but they really do. They get a great education.
Well, and I think it's a pretty well-rounded preschool here too, because I know that they have use of the swimming pool. We have 2 wonderful gymnasiums here at Forest Rose School. They have lunch, so they're really getting that full school experience, if you will.
Yes, we have gym once a week. We also have music therapy once a week. We also have swimming. We have a heated therapy pool, which you did come today on swimming day. So
we have our flippers in the car.
Yes. So the students do get to swim every Thursday for a half an hour, and they absolutely love that. And then also we just got a grant through the VSA of Ohio, so we're going to be introducing with Joanna Johns some yoga with young children because that's kind of a new and upcoming thing. So it'll be great to kind of incorporate that to get our minds and our minds and our bodies ready for preschool. So.
Well, and she does fantastic work. I've worked with her in the past. So tell me a little bit about how you get around some of what people would perceive as barriers and how they really aren't. So if you have a child maybe who does not communicate verbally, how does that work in a classroom setting?
So the first couple weeks of school, we try to really focus on, all about me, and just getting kids acclimated to school and getting acclimated to their classroom and to their peers. We let them explore. If a student's in a wheelchair, we let them explore. They want to touch it. We don't say, "Oh, don't touch that." We let them explore their chair, and that child that's in the wheelchair thinks that's pretty cool. And then with students, we have a lot of students with communication devices, whether it be an eye gaze device, an iPad, a different device where they touch to with a recorded voice. We let them explore that. They think that's pretty cool because they get to use that to communicate. Why don't I? So we have to do some explaining about how their voices just aren't here yet, and we have to use that. So we use that a lot during circle time. And we let our typical students, kind of explore and play with them, quote unquote, just so that they get the opportunity as well. So, and we always are very open with our students. And if they have questions, we answer them, to the best that we can. So they do a great job. And once, those first month or two of school, they just come in and are helpful and just, they're wonderful. So
I love that. So do we have, hey, Carson, come here for a minute. Come here. We're going to ask you a question. This is one of our more talkative little students here. Hi, Carson. How are you? You want to turn around and look at the camera? Hi.
wave hi.
You want to say hi?
Hi.
Carson, can you tell me what your favorite thing is about preschool?
Uh-huh.
What's your favorite thing about preschool?
Well, my favorite is toy.
Toys?
Yeah.
What else do you like?
A pillow. A book.
Puzzles and books. What else? Do you like to go swimming?
Yeah.
Are you going to go swimming today?
Yep.
Yeah. What's your favorite center to play in? Can you tell them that? Do you like reading? Do you like sand and water?
Yeah.
You like sand and water table.
Oh, man.
Yep, I do.
That's a pretty good endorsement. Do you know what this is? What is this?
Called?
A microphone.
There you go. All right. Can you look at the camera and say, "We'll be right back"?
We'll be right back.
Welcome to the Dream Machine.
Like to be part of Green Machine, keep me busy, and it's also important that we do it together as a group, and we plow and plant, and we have lots of produce. We have tomatoes like one here, and gourds, cucumbers, squash, strawberries, beets, microgreens. We also have flower arrangement, and we also sell bags, those tote bags out of animal food bags, and we sell them out in the market, farmers market.
It's a special place that keeps people healthy by eating a couple fruits and vegetables. I always show people, first time they pick raspberries and green beans, I show them how to do it like they do it wrong. Picking raspberries and green beans is simple, easy for me. We're entering some things in the field like pumpkins, the gourds were growing, and everyone likes them. Tasty.
The average text takes your eyes off the road for nearly 5 seconds.
And welcome back to Fairfield Today. I'm your host, Temple Custer-Montanez, with the Fairfield County Board of Developmental Disabilities. And we're spending the day, or at least the morning, at Forest Rose School. And we've just had a ball in the integrated preschool classroom. But with me right now is Jenna Dotson. And Jenna is the Early Intervention Supervisor for Fairfield Today. Hi, Jenna. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Thank you for welcoming us into your sunny office here.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Jenna, I know you have an extensive background in working with children and that you currently work with families with children ages 0 to 3 who maybe aren't quite yet ready for preschool. But in your experience, can you tell us a little bit about the importance of play, why using play, and particularly interactive play or play with children, between children with and without disabilities, is advantageous to everybody involved?
Yes. I think play for us in early intervention, a lot of time is centered around the families. So for us, a lot of it is about building relationships between the parent and the child and doing that as early as possible, because if we're going to be able to engage the parents in their everyday environments and with their everyday tools, then our families are going to be able to use that every single day with their child, and then they're in turn going to be able to take those skills and use them in a play environment with other children. So if we're just kind of using a lot of toys and things, which is what we used to think was really important, we kind of miss that social interaction. We miss picking up on those emotions and all of those facial features and things like that. So I think it's very beneficial.
Excellent. So then by the time a child is ready to enter into preschool, how does something like an integrated setting in a preschool, how does that benefit everybody involved?
Absolutely. I think it's really important, first off, to get all of the interactions they can get, no matter if it's a child that is typically developing or a child that has a developmental delay. But I think that they can feed off of each other. I think that a lot of times children that are in there as the typical peers a lot of times pick up on compassion and learning about differences and things like that, and learning kind of how to be a helper, but also how to play with children that may not necessarily be exactly like them, because every child's going to be unique. But then I think also for our children that may have developmental disabilities, I think it's really important for them to have some peers that maybe if they have a speech delay, maybe are having some other words that they can pick up on. Gives them just a lot of more exposure to things that maybe they wouldn't if they were just at home and not in that preschool setting.
Right. And I think, too, that one thing I've found that's interesting over the years of doing this is that, many times if a family has a child with a developmental disability, they may have two that don't have a developmental disability. So that child is actually learning and playing at home in an integrated environment. Mm-hmm. So why not continue that in a classroom setting?
Absolutely. Yeah, and I think, too, they pick up from their peers. They pick up from everyone that they're around. So the more kiddos, the better, I think, no matter what the situation is. And I think they just really... the pretend play, all that kind of stuff. A lot of life skills are bloomed from play.
Right. This may seem like a dumb question because I probably already know the answer. But do you think that kids may sometimes be more eager to please other children than they are eager to please, their parents or a teacher?
Yes, absolutely. I think there's something about there's somebody that's little just like me that wants to play with me and do all these things, and it seems like a much more fun environment and things, because sometimes, even though we're trying to see things through their eyes, we don't have the imagination and things sometimes as those little ones do. So I think it really is just beneficial for them to be around each other as much as they can.
And what would you say to parents of a typical child who were thinking about maybe putting their child in an integrated setting with children that don't have disabilities? I mean, maybe they have some fears or misconceptions about, well, my child's not going to get as good of an education because everyone's going to be focused more on the child with a disability.
I think, honestly, the idea of having the integrated system is to make sure that all of the children are created and treated equally, and that they can all kind of coexist in this classroom, but also form friendships with somebody that they may not be able to meet before they get into the school system. And then I honestly think that typical developing child may be the child that's more outgoing when they get to those schooling systems, that is going to be able to foster relationships with children and really pull them in and make them feel like they're accepted and that it's going to be a fun time and school is a safe place for everybody.
I love that. Well, Jenna, thank you so much for talking with us. When we come back, we're going to talk to David Uhl, who is the interim director of education here at Forest Rose School.
The Frank E. Smith Funeral Home and Crematory in Lancaster and the Johnson Smith Funeral Home in Baltimore have a long and wonderful history of serving our community. Feel free to give us a call at 740-653-0652. Stop in and see us at either of our 2 locations, 405 North Columbus Street in Lancaster or 207 South Main Street in Baltimore. Respect for tradition, regard for change.
Fairfield Medical goes the extra mile to give attention to their patients, to their guests, anybody that comes within those doors.
There's no question that the staff there are all personally invested in seeing that I got the best care possible.
The staff was so comforting. I felt like she was in the best hands.
They basically gave me a second chance at life, and I'm going to make the most of it.
And welcome back to Fairfield Today. I am your host, Temple Custer-Montanez, with the Fairfield County Board of Developmental Disability, still at Forest Rose, still in a colorful setting, although now I'm in the library with my good friend, David Uhl. Hi, David.
Hi, Temple.
You want to tell everybody your new title?
I don't know what it is anymore.
So David is filling in as the interim director of education for Fairfield DD, and he has been sort of baptism by fire.
I would say that's accurate. Yep, I found out on July 31st, and we started school about a week and a half later. And but it's been a great year. We've had a great start to the year. We're 4 or 5 weeks in now. I've sort of lost count, closer to October than we are to August. And so the kids are all back, and we've got 57, I think, kids right now enrolled here from age preschool all the way up through 12th grade. And I know you visited the preschools already, and but I think a lot of people from the community wonder what happens inside this building. You know, you see it when you drive by on 37 all the time. Everyone knows Forest Rose, knows where it's at. I don't know if they always understand what happens here. It's a school. That's what we do here. It's a school. There are classrooms and a library that you can see, and a lot of this has happened because of great community partners. So when we talk about the library, this is really a partnership with Rotary and the Lancaster Rotary Club, where every week they have a speaker. Every week they have a book that somehow ties into what that speaker's topic is, and then at the end of the year they donate 50 books to the Forest Rose Library. And so the library that you see here is really was built by several groups. Missing Links is another group that donates books, but Rotary International and our local Rotary Club have invested a lot to make this as cool as we can for the kids here at Forest Rose.
Well, and I love that, and I love seeing the library, because one thing we've talked a lot about this morning is the fact that an integrated preschool, and as you said, we got to spend some time down there, and I'd like to spend more time. In fact, I'd like to come down every morning if I could for circle time, because I enjoyed that quite a bit. But on another note, one thing that we have been talking about is that really an integrated preschool it's just a preschool. With the same curriculum and then the same activities. And if anything, I think the students at Forest Rose are getting a little bit more bang for their buck with the swimming pool and music therapy. We can hear some music here off in the background. This beautiful and well-facilitated library, the gymnasiums, just so much going on down here.
Yeah, just like when you walk into any school, and we like visitors here. I know sometimes in some of our other schools it's like Fort Knox trying to get into my daughter's elementary school, and I like it that way, by the way. And here it's the same. We're completely locked down, but we also welcome visitors. So if you want to call, get a tour, we'd be happy to take you through and show you what's going on. We can do that after hours. Students leave here about 3 o'clock, and so we have the opportunity in the late afternoon, or even while kids are here, we can take you through and show you what's going on, because you're right. Here we have a pool, so you can go get in the pool. The students here use that regularly, and we have a full gymnasium, full cafeteria. Everything that happens in a school happens here, including the education that takes place in the classrooms on a daily basis, both for preschool and then again all the way up through 12th grade.
So when you talk to parents of typical students that are serving as peer role models, it sounds like a lot of pressure, right? I mean, it sounds like, hey, we'd like your typical child to come in and be a peer role model. How do you alleviate those fears?
So the kids, I don't think, have any fears.
Seldom do they at age 4, right?
And so again, for kids, it's just come and be you. And that's really, I think, what we talk with parents about too. We just need your kid to come and be your kid. And a typical kid is what they are. My 5-year-old, who's in pre-K now, tears through the house, falls down steps, fractures his arm. You do what kids do, and so that's what these kids do as well. And so I think parents are fine with the idea that they're here and that it's integrated. They're obviously making the choice to send their child here, and it's great for everyone. I think lots of times we think all this, it's great to have a kid without disabilities in with a kid who has disabilities, and that's true, but not for the benefit of the kid with a disability, but rather the other way even, because if we're trying to create a culture, a community, a society that really is blind to disability, what a great way to do it, where you just put a bunch of kids all together in class all at the same time, early on in life as they're cementing their worldview, and then all of a sudden it's just, well, that's just my friend. It's not my friend with a disability. It's not my friend who maybe is in a wheelchair, or who maybe doesn't talk the way I talk, or who maybe doesn't see. Just my friend. And that's what we're going for down here, and it's happening.
Well, and I love that level of acceptance that you have with children at that age too. I know I used to teach the after-school art program at Art and Clay, and inevitably there'd be a child, maybe with a helmet on, next to a child who didn't have any type of disability, and the conversation was organic. The child without the disability would say, "What's up with the helmet?" The child with the helmet would say, "I have seizures," and the child without the disability would say, "Can you pass me the orange crayon?" And it is seamless, and wouldn't it be wonderful if it were like that for all of us in accepting one another with differences? So just to reiterate too, David, that the curriculum that all of the students receive here at Forest Rose School does follow a mandated curriculum.
Sure does. Yeah, we're a ODE licensed school, and so all the things that any other school does, we have to do. There are assessments, just like our kids take tests. All the kids here have to take those standardized assessments, and when it comes to preschool, we're a step up to quality program. So we're a 4-star program here at Forest Rose, and so the state, both from ODJFS and ODE, Ohio Department of Education, significant licensure requirements here, all of which are met as a standard school facility.
And you actually have professional teachers here too.
That's right, licensed teachers that are here in each classroom, and then many of the classrooms have instructor assistants, and then some students have a one-on-one aide who works directly with them in the classroom throughout the day as well.
I love that. So there's no lack of support happening down here at Forest Rose. I think probably too, when we're talking about Forest Rose, I always like to inform people too, especially people like you and I that grew up in the Fairfield County community, that there was a time where this school was much more populated, and that the fact that it's not as populated is actually a good thing.
Yeah, that's right. It's really our goal, and when I say ours, I mean the County Board of Developmental Disabilities. It's our goal that every student is served in their home school district. So kids that go to Bern Union should be at Bern Union, and those go to Fairfield Union should be at Fairfield Union. But then we find that there are some students who have a disability that might be so involved that the district doesn't feel like they can properly or appropriately support that student in their educational journey. So Forest Rose exists to do that. But our goal is always to help the district and the student get to a place where the student, at whatever age that might be, can transition back to the home district. So in the past, there were a lot more students here, but the school districts and our teams here have really worked hard to ensure that students are receiving education in the least restrictive environment, and that's in the school district. And so we see regularly throughout the year students that are moving toward on that journey, transitioning back to their home school, and that's what we're going for.
Hope to work ourselves out of a job.
That's right.
I love it.
I've got another one when this one's over. So
you do have a couple of them. Well, David, thank you so much for allowing us into the doors of Forest Rose School. And if anyone has any questions about Forest Rose School and integrated preschool program, please check us out at www.fairfielddd.com. And until next time, I am Temple Custer-Montanez. Make it a great week.
Interface Video presents Fairfield Today. Brought to you by Fairfield Federal Savings and Loan, Fairfield Medical Center, Fairhope Hospice and Palliative Care, the Fairfield County Board of Developmental Disabilities, and the Frankie Smith Funeral Home.